Today we're taking a look at the Be Quiet Pure Power 12M Series 1200 watt power supply, courtesy of Be Quiet. Be Quiet has a long history of making some real quality power supplies, as well as cases and coolers, so I'm very interested to take a look at the Pure Power 12M today. In terms of the Pure Power 12M series lineup, we have a 550 watt, 650 watt, 750 watt, 850 watt, 1000 watt, and this 1200 watt option. All of the Pure Power PSUs are not only fully modular, but they're also all 80 plus gold rated in terms of efficiency. Like all of the other Be Quiet components, the Pure Power 12M runs very quietly thanks to the Silent Wings fan that they've implemented and the overall board and component design. The 1200 watt version that I have here runs at around 10.1 dBA at 10% load, or about 120 watts, 10.6 dBA at 20% load, or about 240 watts, 10.7 dBA at about 50% load, or about 550 watts, which, by the way, is most gaming systems. And finally, if you're fully loading this PSU down, the maximum sound output will only be about 34.3 dBA, which is actually super low for a system that's outputting 1200 watts. Your cooling fans for whatever cooling solution you have on your CPU and GPU are definitely going to be louder. I'm setting up this 1200 watt PSU on my brand new AMD Ryzen 9700X and RTX 4070 Super benchmarking system. Admittedly, this is a little bit overkill, but it definitely leaves me plenty of room to grab a higher end GPU and comfortably go full water cooling if I wanted. In addition to the very high efficiency that the Pure Power 12M series has, this model is ATX 3.0 compatible, meaning that we're getting cabling for a PCI Express 5.0 GPU in terms of power, or the 12VH PWR connection. No worries if you have an older or current generation GPU though, we do have more common 6+2 PCI Express power connections available. This PSU is a dual rail PSU. Rail 1 or 12V1 supports up to 55 amps, and Rail 2 or 12V2 supports up to 50 amps. Just keep that in mind when you're connecting all of the stuff in there. If you can evenly load it, or if you don't exceed 50 or 55 amps, you should be all set. Just to give you an idea in terms of the overall build quality, the PSU body or casing on the PSU is relatively nice. No sharp edges, all the connections look good, all the modular cables were very easy to plug in and use. I didn't really have any issues with the unit that I have. There's also a satisfying click feeling when the cables are nicely inserted. I do like that Be Quiet positions the power supply side of the modular connections vertically. I think it does make it a little bit easier for me to plug that in, but it's just my opinion. As for the cabling itself, we're getting a very good selection of nicer power cables here. The 24-pin main harness is about 550 millimeters long. We have a 600 millimeter long 4+4 and 8-pin CPU EPS cable. I like having both options. And in terms of the GPUs, we have a PCI Express 5.0 12VH PWR PCI Express cable. This is 600 millimeters long, and it supports 600 watts, by the way. As for more of the current generation GPUs, we have two dual PCI Express 6+2 pin PCI Express cables that are 650 millimeters long. As for the accessory power cables, there's a 950 millimeter SATA and a legacy Molex mixed cable, as well as an all SATA power cable that's also 950 millimeters long. Even in a larger case like the Shadow Base 800FX that I'm using, all of these cables were plenty long for all of the cable routing. I didn't have any issues there. You don't need to buy cable extensions for this in my opinion, but if you prefer them, you can definitely pick some up. The PSU is rated for over 100,000 hours of continuous use, and it can easily operate up to 40 degrees Celsius internally, though if I had to guess, it's going to run much cooler in most cases. Be Quiet has a 10-year warranty on the Pure Power 12M PSU range, so definitely bonus points there for confidence in the product. In case you didn't know, Be Quiet does try to offer some type of cross-compatibility in terms of the cabling that they use between different PSU lines. You can actually go out to the website and check the cable compatibility tab on any of their power supplies, and then check that against maybe an old PSU that you have. All of the cables for the Pure Power 12M work on the Dark Power 13, for example. Many of the cables are compatible with other series of PSUs as well, obviously, except for the 12VH PWR cable, since that is a newer technology. I think it's awesome that Be Quiet designs the power supplies in this way, and that they actually publicly share this data on their website with a super easy to use tool. In terms of the overall size of this power supply, I would say it's decently sized. It's coming in at about 160 millimeters long, 150 millimeters wide, and 86 millimeters tall. It's one of those things, if you know you need a 1200 watt gold rated PSU, you probably have a case that's big enough to fit this, but always double check. Right now, the 1200 watt version of this power supply is coming in at around $165 on Amazon. Considering that this power supply's total power output is 1200 watts, we've got plentiful cabling options, which includes the 12VH power cable. We've got a 80 plus gold rating, and the power supply has a 10-year warranty. I think this is really a very good value option, and I think if you buy this PSU, you're definitely going to hang on to it for quite a few major system upgrades. Investing in a power supply like this definitely tends to work out because you'll have it for a very long time. I'll have links to this power supply and everything in my gaming build in the description below, so definitely head down there and check that out. If this video helped you with your PSU buying decision, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button for the algorithm. That'll let YouTube know to share this video with other people who are researching power supplies. If you're into PC gaming, home lab type stuff, any kind of computer builds, I would say get subscribed to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. Until next time, stay juiced up.